At sunrise, an eagle glides effortlessly across a river, its wings catching the first light of day. There was a time when this sight almost vanished forever. The bald eagle, the proud symbol of America, came dangerously close to extinction. Today it soars once again, not only as a symbol of freedom but of resilience. This is the story of its incredible comeback. Imagine the mid-20th century. Bald eagles, once numbering in the hundreds of thousands across North America, were disappearing. Not because of natural predators, but because of us. Forests were cleared, rivers polluted, and hunters sought them as trophies. Worst of all, a chemical called DDT seeped into the food chain. Fish that carried traces of it became poisoned meals for eagles. The toxin didn't kill the adults outright, but it weakened their future. DDT thinned their eggshells so drastically that mothers crushed their own young just by trying to keep them warm. By 1963, only 417 nesting pairs remained in the lower 48 states. The national bird, the icon of a nation, was on the brink of extinction. But from this dark chapter, hope began to stir. In 1962, Rachel Carson published her groundbreaking book, Silent Spring, exposing the devastating impact of pesticides. It changed the way America thought about the environment. The public began to demand action. In 1972, the United States banned DDT, cutting off the root of the problem. A year later, the Endangered Species Act passed, giving bald eagles unprecedented legal protection. Suddenly, the bird that symbolized freedom had defenders determined to fight for its survival. The comeback, however, did not happen overnight. For years, scientists worked tirelessly. They scaled treetops to check fragile nests, banded young eaglets, and carefully tracked populations. Wildlife officials created breeding programs and released eagles into areas where they had vanished decades before. Each tiny hatchling that broke free of its shell was more than a bird. It was a fragile heartbeat carrying the weight of hope. Slowly, through persistence and care, the population began to turn, and then the skies began to fill again. Eagles returned to rivers, coasts, and forests they had long abandoned. From just 417 nesting pairs in 1963, their population swelled to more than 316,000 individuals today across the United States. Families gathered at riverbanks to watch their winter migrations. Photographers captured their fierce beauty. Children looked up in awe as the mighty bird once again ruled the skies. After decades of struggle, the bald eagle's recovery reached a triumphant milestone. In 2007, it was officially removed from the endangered species list. The comeback was complete. But this story isn't just about saving one bird. It's about what happens when people decide that nature is worth fighting for. It shows the power of science to guide us, the power of law to protect us, and the power of hope to inspire us. The bald eagle's survival proves that even when a species is pushed to the edge of extinction, there can be a second chance if we choose to act. Now, when we see an eagle soaring high above mountains, rivers, and cities, it carries a lesson on its wings. It reminds us that when we fight for nature, we fight for ourselves. The skies are alive again, and the bald eagle's cry is no longer one of warning, but of triumph. From near extinction to a national victory, the bald eagle's comeback is one of the greatest conservation stories of our time.